Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas is set to take place on the main card of UFC 251 Fight Island. Usman versus Masvidal this weekend, and I can't wait for this matchup. This will determine the next person to be taken on Weili Zhang for her strawweight world championship. I feel like that only applies if Rose Namajunas beats Jessica Andrade, because I don't see any way that they're going to try and sell an Andrade versus Zhang rematch. That just wouldn't make much sense. But then again, if Andrade goes out there and KOs Namajunas in the first round, all of a sudden it does make sense because we've got a lot of momentum and hype. However, if Namajunas wins this one, she's guaranteed getting a title shot against Weili Zhang, which I think would be the best matchup and the best situation possible. I believe that Namajunas is going to win this fight, and this is one of those few rare cases where the person who lost the first fight is the favourite in the rematch, because of how dominant Namajunas was in their first fight. Even though Andrade won the fight, I think it's very clear to everyone that Namajunas kind of won that fight. You know? Even though the score and Sherdog and Tapology and all of these websites and the UFC website itself has Andrade as the winner, I think we all kind of understand that Namajunas just pieced the fuck out of Andrade for almost 2 whole rounds before being slammed on her head while she was going for a submission mid-air. That can happen in MMA. I don't think it's going to happen again because I feel like the mistakes of Namajunas are adjustable. I don't think Andrade can adjust certain things the way Namajunas can. For example, Andrade in their first fight was able to land a lot of good leg kicks. That's something that can be fixed in Namajunas' game plan. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I'm going to be more wary of the leg kicks because now I know she's going to be going for them. Okay, that's a little tweak that Namajunas can make. Andrade cannot make a tweak, in my opinion. She can't just narrowly and minorly change her game to get the better of Namajunas here. She has to do the same thing that she did in the first fight, which is walk forward, land leg kicks, slow down the movement of Rose Namajunas, and eventually get in her face and tie her and drag her down and make it into a slugfest. That's what she was trying to do in the first fight. She wasn't really successful in doing that because Namajunas has really good footwork, although she did land a lot of good leg kicks, as I mentioned before. But Namajunas can change that. She can say, okay, this fight I'm going to be more wary of the leg kicks. I'm going to train for leg kicks to come at me, and I'm going to try and avoid them best I can while doing what I did before. Okay, Namajunas can also change a little bit in the fact that I'm not going to go submissions when she's trying to pick me up. I'm just going to look to settle in full guard or half guard and then work my way back up from there because I have better jiu-jitsu than skill. She can make those adjustments, but Andrade, as I was saying before, has to come forward and make this a slugfest. She's going to do that in this fight as well. However, she's coming off a KO loss. I know Namajunas is coming off a KO loss as well, but that was a year ago. It's been a long time. Jessica Andrade got KO'd by Weili Zhang pretty badly. She got hurt to the body, then she got concussed upstairs as well, eventually going down. It was quite a bad stoppage. And when you're a person who prides yourself, like Jessica Andrade does, on being able to take the punishment, come forward and throw hands, she's the Mike Tyson of the women's strawweight division. I think that's a pretty fair analysis to make. She's that girl that needs to be able to take punishment. When you start getting TKO'd, it's worrying. Not to mention, even in the Namajunas fight, she took a fair amount of damage there as well. She got rocked by a knee up the middle from Namajunas, straight on the chin, and put her on her ass, and she almost got finished in the first round. Like, Andrade is taking a bit of damage, and when you're the person that needs to be able to take damage, when you start getting dropped and finished here and there, it seems to be a bit less trustworthy to place my prediction on you. So I'm going to be going with Rose Namajunas here. I don't see her getting a finish. In fact, I see her barely winning a decision. I think Andrade is actually going to win the third round of this fight, I'll be honest with you guys, because one thing I did see in their fight, I think Andrade could edge the third round. Sorry, I don't think she's just going to completely dominate the third round, but still, one thing I did notice in their first fight is that Namajunas started to slow down a little bit. Andrade was coming forward and she was trying her best and she wasn't really landing anything. She was landing some good leg kicks though. And Namajunas did start to slow down. This wasn't just a one-sided beat down from Namajunas the entire time with no success from Andrade. Andrade was getting to her. Towards the end of that round, Andrade was having some moments. Namajunas' footwork was starting to change because of all the leg kicks. If Andrade can get this into the third round, it might be a bit of a problem. And to be honest with you guys, if Andrade made it into, say, the third or fourth round in that fight originally with Namajunas, even if she didn't KO her with the slam, there's a good chance that Andrade might have began to change the tide of that fight, because Namajunas' pacing is amazing and she can go 5 rounds on her own terms. She's like Tyron Woodley in that way. Tyron Woodley can go 5 rounds so long as 5 rounds to his opponent means throwing 1 or 2 punches around. That's when Woodley can go 5 rounds at his own pace. Namajunas can go 5 rounds when Jędrzejczyk gives her the space to work, where Namajunas can be loose and Namajunas can pick her shots a little bit better. But when you're going 5 rounds at Andrade's pace, and you don't have a way of breaking that momentum, and Andrade is just walking you down the whole time, it's so much more tiring to move backwards than it is to just be in the center with someone going back and forth, or to be moving forwards as well. So much more difficult to move backwards. So actually, if this was a 5-rounder, I maybe wouldn't mind Andrade as an underdog. I really wouldn't, honestly. She's tough. Namajunas couldn't finish her the first time. I guess you've got to kind of take that into a situation, you know, like, she's pretty good. Andrade is a pretty good fighter. Andrade has some good wins in that division, in fact was the champion, and she got to becoming champion as well, which is more impressive than her actually taking the belt, in my opinion. I mean, both girls have fought the who's who of the division. Both have wins over Tisha Torres. Then Andrade has a KO win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz. As much as I like Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's kind of soft, you know? So I don't know how much I look into that one, but she got a KO over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and that's a girl who went 5 rounds with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. The women's strawweight division is the definition of styles make fights. It always has been. It's one of the most talent-stacked divisions in women's MMA. I just think Namajunas is going to get the job done. I think the 3rd round, we're going to see Andrade actually start to put the pressure on Namajunas. But because it's only a 3-round fight, I think it's going to be too little too late for Andrade. She has to invest early. And when you're investing in a 3-rounder, you're not going to get the payout at the end of it. You know, it's too short of time, especially in the women's strawweight division. Like, fair enough at heavyweight. You land a few leg kicks in the 1st round, that guy could be crippled for the rest of the fight. You saw it in Miocic versus JDS. JDS landed a few calf kicks. That's all it took. Stipe was like, fuck this, I'm getting this guy out of here. And KO'd him in the 1st round. He knew he had to get JDS out of there. In women's strawweight divisions, and as you go down the weight classes in general, it's so much harder to invest. And so much harder to KO people as well, but it's so much harder to invest because it's more of a point-scoring division. As you go down in weight, the flyweights, the bantamweights, you'll see more of an educated jab that you maybe won't see at light heavyweight and heavyweight, you know? I don't know. I just don't think investment shots are the way in the lower weight classes. I don't think Andrade is going to be too good here, especially coming off a KO loss. I know Namajunas has been out of the game for a long time, but she seems as though she's fallen back in love with MMA. Whatever that means, I'm just assuming it means she's going to show up in shape. Listen, I think Namajunas, even on an off night, could maybe edge a decision over Andrade. So I'm going to pick her to win this one. Namajunas wins. I think she gets it done. And if she does win, Weili Zhang is next, 100%. I just think that Namajunas can make the adjustments, man. Like, if I was Namajunas' coach right now, if I was Pat Barry, I would come out there and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Every time Andrade lifts you up, we're going to look to settle in full guard. We're just going to recover from the slam that's inevitably coming. We're not going to be going for submissions this time. That's one little change that Namajunas can make that avoids 50% of Andrade's success in their first fight. Because people don't remember, the slam happened before the last one. When Namajunas was going for the same kind of submission, it just didn't KO Namajunas that time. The second time did. So if I'm Pat Barry, we're not going for submissions if she's holding us up in the air anymore. We're not going to do that. We're going to settle and we're just going to try and land safely, and then we're going to work on getting back to our feet. Another thing, quick little note, check some of the leg kicks. Move out of the way, be wary of the leg kicks. She did them last time. Now we're going to be aware of them. If I'm Andrade's coach, I don't know what to tell her other than just try and do what you did the first time, but just don't get dropped and try to avoid the jab. Like, Andrade was being Andrade, you know? Like, that's what she needs to do to win. I just don't think she has the adjustments necessary. I don't think Andrade can add too much to her game at this point. She is the girl that walks forward, takes punishment, and deals it out twice as hard. And when you're that kind of girl, and you get dropped against Namajunas, and then TKO'd against Weili Zhang, I can't trust in that, man. I really can't. I think Namajunas is going to get this one done. I think she drops her early, wins the first 2 rounds. Then the 3rd round, Andrade is going to start to have some success, but it's going to be too late. Namajunas wins. 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, gets the job done, and then we can make Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. And Andrade can bounce right back. I mean, Andrade, fair play to her, has got a decent record for a female fighter, because I just know, every time I see Rose Namajunas' record, it shocks me to my core. She's 8-4. What the fuck is going on? Like, that is not, I don't understand. She's a champion. She's literally one of the pound-for-pound best female fighters, and she fucking, you know, fair enough, the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight was a close split decision, but still, you know, why are you 8-4? Like, I understand that it's a really talent-stacked division and they don't have time to really beat a bunch of regional girls and then get into the UFC. They're kind of just chucked into the UFC as soon as they win 2 fights or some shit like that. Even if they lose 2 fights, as long as they have a fat ass, they're in the UFC. Seems to be how it works recently, but still, Namajunas versus Zhang is the best case scenario here. That's what we want. I feel like Namajunas is going to win, which is a benefit, because I want what I want and what I think are the same in this situation, which is a good outcome, because I want Masvidal to KO Usman brutally, but I think Usman beats him, so that's a bit of a, I'm a little bit torn on that one, but still, Namajunas is going to win this fight. Then we do her versus Zhang. It's great. It's great. Put it as the co-main event of Adesanya versus Costa. Weili Zhang is a draw. So is Rose Namajunas. Okay? I like it. And if that does happen, if Andrade wins, we're in a bit of a problem. They could make the rematch between her and Zhang. I wouldn't mind it. But I feel like if Andrade wins, I mean, Ioane and Jacek has a win over Andrade. You know, and fair play to Andrade. She's got a decent record, so she could again fight for the title and bounce right back. She's still only 28 years of age. However, if she does win, I could see them giving a rematch to Ioane and Jacek above her, just because Ioana's beaten her. Ioana went 5 rounds with Weili Zhang, lost, but it was a close fight. Some people thought Jacek won. I don't think so, because 3 of the rounds there was equal strikes, and Zhang landed the hardest strikes in all of those rounds and even got a takedown in one of those rounds. So I give those rounds to Zhang 3-2. However, if Namajunas wins, Jacek versus Tatiana Suarez in the meantime on the main card of a pay-per-view. Slide it in that number 4 spot. You know the number 4 spot I'm talking about. You got the main event, co-main event, feature fight, main card opener, and in that number 4 slot. The sneaking number 4 slot on the pay-per-view that no one really notices, but it gets the same hype as the rest of them on the card. Definitely do that. Jacek versus Suarez if Namajunas wins. Fingers crossed. Namajunas gets this one done. I think she wins it by decision. Good fight, though. Really good. I'm looking forward to it. I just don't think Andrade can adjust. I think Namajunas can. And I think she can do better than she did last time. And last time, in my opinion, she won the fight. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye.